The sky didn't scream. The ground didn't crack. No angelic trumpet blasted from the clouds. But something shifted. Something irreversible. In the quiet folds of time, tucked between prophecy and silence, an ancient whisper has begun to echo louder than ever before. It's a whisper from a blind mystic who defied the constraints of time, who saw without eyes, and who left behind riddles that now seem disturbingly clear. Her name was Baba Vanga, and her final message? It wasn't about war. It wasn't about plague. It wasn't even about the rise and fall of kings. It was about us. About this moment. About the unraveling of the very threads that bind our modern world. So before we dive into what might be the most unnerving prophecy you've ever heard, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Interconnected Zone, and share it with someone you trust. Because what we're about to uncover may shake your understanding of reality itself. And once we go deeper, there's no turning back. Also, if you'd like to support what we do here, delivering the mysterious, the forgotten, and the unsettling, consider becoming a member. It's the best way to help us stay independent and keep unearthing what others won't dare touch. Now, take a deep breath. Let's walk into the fog together. Born in 1911 in a small village nestled in what was then the Ottoman Empire, Baba Vanga was not supposed to be a seer. She was an ordinary girl, living in poverty, tending to her daily chores. But fate had other plans. When she was just 12 years old, a freak storm swept through her village. Blinded by the swirling winds and lifted off the ground, she was thrown into a nearby field. Days later, her family found her with her eyes sealed shut, caked in dust and dried tears. But she was alive, and something had changed. She was never the same again. Soon after, Baba Vanga began to speak in strange patterns. She told neighbors of events that hadn't yet happened. She described places she had never visited. She predicted deaths, disasters, and transformations that defied explanation. And over time, the Balkan people began to whisper that a prophet walked among them. She foresaw the fall of the Soviet Union. She predicted 9/11. She warned of the Fukushima nuclear disaster. Even the sinking of the Kursk submarine. She spoke of it in chilling clarity. And she did all of this without eyes. If you're watching this and feeling a little skeptical, that's understandable. Prophets are often dismissed until their words come true. So ask yourself this. How could a blind woman from a forgotten village possibly foresee events across oceans and decades? Coincidence? Or something else entirely? This brings us to her final and most alarming vision, a warning so veiled in metaphor, yet so piercing in truth, that even now, researchers, mystics, and skeptics are all beginning to wonder. Has the collapse already begun? Before we go further into this unraveling message, pause for a moment and drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe about Baba Vanga? Prophet, hoax, or something stranger still? Your voice matters in this mystery. And remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. It's the only way to make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Because in the next few minutes, we're about to trace her final words, and they lead somewhere dark. Near the end of her life, when her health had begun to decline and her speech slowed to cryptic mutters, Baba Vanga reportedly made a statement that was unlike anything she had ever shared before. Not tied to a date, not a singular event, not even about a specific country. This message was collective, cosmic, a final echo for all of us. Those who were close to her remember it well. She whispered, "The world will wear a crown of glass, but it will crack not from outside. It will crack from within. The metal veins will fail. The sky will flicker like a broken mirror. And people will stop feeling. A crown of glass, metal veins, the sky flickering. Let's peel it apart. A crown of glass could easily be interpreted as the digital world we now depend on. Satellites orbiting like a halo around the Earth. Our heads bowed to glowing screens. Our modern civilization balanced on fragile technology. The glass could be our smartphones, our skyscrapers, our data centers. A kingdom of silicon and circuits. But it will crack from within. Not a foreign enemy, not an asteroid, not divine wrath. No, according to Vanga, the collapse begins with us. Inside us, inside our systems, inside our minds. The metal veins will fail. A poetic reference to the internet, electrical grids, global shipping routes, the arteries of our society, failing from corrosion we cannot see until it's too late. And then she said, chillingly, people will stop feeling. What does that mean? Numbness? Emotional detachment? The death of empathy? Or something even darker? The hollowing of the human spirit beneath the weight of information, chaos, and artificial connection. She didn't offer a fix. She didn't give a date. All she said was this. When people start to feel everything and nothing at the same time, the end will not be loud. It will be unnoticed. No mushroom cloud, no marching armies. Just a slow fade into apathy. Now I ask you, look around. Right now, at your news feed, your neighborhood, your own emotional landscape. Do you see it happening? Are we already inside the collapse? Before we go deeper, I want you to share your thoughts in the comments. What does people will stop feeling mean to you? Are we becoming desensitized? Have we already lost something we didn't even realize was precious? Let's talk. This channel isn't just a voice, it's a community of seekers. And we want to know what you see. And while you're here, if this journey is resonating with you, if you feel the eerie weight of truth stirring beneath Vanga's words, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe before we get further lost in the fog. The world will wear a crown of glass, and it will crack from within. You don't have to squint too hard to see it anymore. Take a walk through any major city and you'll notice something. People are talking, but not to each other. Eyes are fixed downward. Glowing screens illuminate blank faces. Even in rooms full of people, there is silence, because connection has become simulated. This is the crown of glass, a kingdom built on screens, a civilization that feels real, but can shatter without warning. Let's go deeper. Metal veins will fail. Let's translate that into our modern lifelines. First, the internet, the neural network of the modern world. One solar flare, one major cyber attack, one unforeseen cascade of digital failure, and suddenly the glass cracks. Banking systems shut down, water grids stop flowing, flights are grounded, hospital machines flicker off. It's not a Hollywood fantasy, it's already happened in pieces. In 2021, a single server configuration error brought down Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp globally for hours. That's over 3.5 billion people suddenly severed from communication. Panic followed. The system was fragile, and it showed. In 2022, a major power outage in Texas during a winter storm left millions in the cold and dark, not because of a lack of resources, but because the grid was never meant to bear that kind of stress. The metal veins bent, they cracked. Everywhere, we see systems so tightly wound, so interconnected, that a tremor in one corner becomes a quake across the globe. A delayed shipment of microchips in Taiwan becomes a car shortage in Germany. A hacked oil pipeline in the US sparks fuel panic across multiple states. The veins are real, and they're bleeding. But Baba Vanga's warning didn't stop at infrastructure. It was also about us. People will stop feeling. In a time of mass information, we have never been more aware, yet somehow less affected. We scroll past images of war, of famine, of injustice, and feel nothing. A flicker of emotion, then silence, then the next post. This is emotional entropy, the flattening of the human heart. Add to that the rise of artificial intelligence, machines that mimic empathy, art, even consciousness. As AI becomes more human, humans are becoming more machine. Less patience, less reflection, less awe. Algorithms feeding algorithms. People optimizing themselves for systems they no longer understand. Do you feel it? That strange detachment, that quiet sense that something has gone cold, not outside of us but within. If you do, say so in the comments. We're building a space where truth seekers can speak freely, without judgment. What do you see that supports Baba Vanga's vision? Let your voice be part of the puzzle. And if you're still watching, if you're still with us in the fog, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. It helps us survive the algorithm, those same invisible veins running beneath all of us. Now, let's go one step further. What if Baba Vanga's vision wasn't just about collapse, but also a rebirth? There's a curious thing about the old mystics. They rarely speak in absolutes. They don't warn of destruction without also whispering of transformation. Baba Vanga was no different. While her final messages speak of systems breaking, of numbness spreading, and of silence replacing connection, buried within those cryptic lines is something else. A pattern, a rhythm, a pulse that might be easy to miss if you're only listening with fear. Let's go back. The world will wear a crown of glass. What is a crown, if not a symbol of power, of awakening? Perhaps this wasn't just about fragility, it was also about ascension. Maybe the glass wasn't only doomed to break. Maybe it was always meant to, because glass, after all, must be shattered before it can be reshaped into something new. Could Baba Vanga have been hinting that modern society is a cocoon, one that must fracture for something greater to emerge? In one of her final conversations, shared only in fragments by those closest to her, she reportedly said, "There will be a silence in the soul of man, but from it, new voices will rise, not louder but truer. New voices will rise." What could she have meant? Some believe she foresaw the return of forgotten wisdom, ancient truths buried beneath consumerism, greed, and distraction. That after the collapse of the old, something simpler, something more connected to nature, to energy, to spirit, would rise again. We're seeing glimmers of this now, aren't we? Look closely. More people are abandoning traditional paths, choosing self-sufficiency, mindfulness, holistic medicine, community gardens, off-grid homes. Meditation apps have exploded in popularity. Astrology, ancient philosophies, and esoteric teachings once mocked by the mainstream are now returning to center stage. It's as if something within us is trying to remember, trying to return. Maybe, just maybe, the metal veins must fail so that the spiritual arteries can reawaken. Maybe the collapse Baba Vanga warned of is not just the end of modern society, but the beginning of a new human experience altogether. But beware, transformation is never painless, and this journey won't be taken by everyone. In that same cryptic whisper she warned, "Only those who listen to the earth will remember how to speak to each other." It's haunting, beautiful, and it might just be our last clue. So I ask you now, what if this collapse is sacred? What if the breakdown of our systems, our distractions, our cold mechanical world is simply the first breath before a long-awaited awakening? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Could this be a spiritual evolution disguised as destruction? Are you one of the ones who can still hear the earth? Up next, we dig into the missing pages, the prophecies that never made it into the public eye, but are only now coming to light. What was Baba Vanga not allowed to say? There's something strange about the story of Baba Vanga. For a woman who lived in a small Bulgarian village, blind, elderly, and often surrounded by visitors and pilgrims, she somehow became too dangerous, not to her neighbours, not to her friends, but to governments. For years, Vanga was under surveillance. Both the Bulgarian and Soviet intelligence agencies kept quiet tabs on her, archiving everything she said. Certain visitors were watched. Some of her sessions recorded, yet most of what they collected never released. Why? Because not all her visions were meant to reach the public. Some were deemed too destabilizing. What few people know is that Vanga made several specific predictions about the future of global power structures, but they were edited, silenced, or reframed. Her caretakers under pressure either refused to repeat them or denied they were ever said. But witnesses from her inner circle claim otherwise. One whispered prophecy, recalled in fragments by a visiting interpreter, went like this: "A time will come when the leaders will wear masks, not of cloth, but of faces. Behind them, the real rulers will hide, and the people will cheer their own captors, drunk on lies sweeter than honey." Think about that. What does it mean to wear a mask that's not cloth, but a face? Could she have been describing a future where leaders are no longer what they seem? Where decisions are made by unelected forces behind corporate screens, digital platforms, and algorithms posing as neutral? Where the age of democracy is replaced, not with dictatorship, but with illusion? And what about this? The sky will become a net, and all who fly in it will be caught. Another suppressed vision. Some interpret this as a warning about mass surveillance, satellites, drones, AI, digital grids that monitor every move. Today, your phone knows where you are. Your devices listen. Your preferences, thoughts, even your silence, are data points. The sky has already become a net. Even more alarming is her alleged prophecy regarding the truth itself. The truth will become poison, and those who drink it will be cast out like madmen. In today's world of disinformation, cancel culture, and digital witch hunts, truth itself has become dangerous. Question the wrong narrative and you're labelled, disappear, censored, cast out. Did Baba Vanga foresee the death of objective truth? The rewriting of history? The rise of curated reality? And why were these words hidden? Who benefits from their silence? There are rumours, nothing confirmed, that certain tapes of her final sessions were seized by Eastern intelligence agencies and never returned. The official explanation? State security. But what does that tell you? That her words, her visions, threatened something massive. And now those threats are becoming visible. If you've noticed how fast reality is shifting, how authority feels empty, how systems act more like machines than human institutions, then perhaps you're already seeing what Baba Vanga wasn't allowed to say out loud. But now, you know. If this is connecting dots for you, tell us what you think in the comments. Which of these hidden prophecies feels real to you? Do you think they were silenced for safety or for control? And if you're feeling the weight of this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. It's more than a button. It's how truth spreads in an age of noise. And if you're feeling grateful or inspired, maybe leave us a super thanks. Every little light helps illuminate the shadows. Now it's time to ask the final question. Was Baba Vanga's warning really about society collapsing? Or was it about our humanity being tested? You've heard the warnings. The systems collapsing, the metal veins breaking, the numbness spreading like a fog over our hearts. But hidden between the cracks of Baba Vanga's words is one final message. A test. A challenge. And the question she leaves us with isn't what will happen to the world, but who will we be when it does? One of her lesser-known quotes, recorded by a monk who visited her in her final year, simply said, "The storm is not coming to destroy you. It is coming to reveal you." What if the real collapse she foresaw was a kind of mirror? A moment when humanity would finally see itself, without illusion, without the comfort of distraction, without the safety net of lies. In her visions, there was always a line dividing those who endured from those who vanished. Not physically, but spiritually. Those who endured were not the wealthiest, nor the most powerful. They were the ones who remembered how to feel, who still knew how to listen to the silence, who still looked at the sky, not just for weather, but for meaning, who still felt awe when the wind passed through the trees. In one chilling vision, she said, "Many will survive, but only some will live." That difference between survival and living is what she was pointing at all along. In the final years of her life, Vanga became increasingly withdrawn. Some believed it was illness. Others believe it was something more, a kind of grief, a knowing. Because she'd seen the test, and she knew not all of us would pass it. The test isn't written. There are no clear instructions. It's happening in real time. It's in how we treat each other, in how we respond to fear, in whether we choose convenience or truth, in whether we keep running away or stop, turn around and face the storm with our eyes open. This might be the most important moment in human history, not because of war or economics or politics, but because we're deciding what kind of species we want to be. One that sleeps through the collapse, numbed by noise, or one that awakens. Because awakening might be the only way through. Baba Vanga never claimed to be a savior. She didn't ask to be worshipped. She simply saw. And what she saw, she passed on like a torch in the dark. And now, it's in your hands. You. Not governments, not influencers, not even prophets. You. The way you choose to live, to listen, to feel again. That's what determines whether this collapse is a death or a rebirth. And that's the deepest truth of all. So now, we want to hear from you. Have you felt the test? In your relationships, in your emotions, in your dreams even? Have you sensed a deeper shift? Something no headline can explain? Leave a comment. Share your experience. This channel is your zone, your mirror, your circle in the storm. And if you've made it this far, if your heart is beating a little differently right now, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with others who are searching. Become a member of the Interconnected Zone to help us stay unfiltered and fierce in our quest for truth. We exist because of your energy, and if this video sparked something in you, you can also leave a super thanks. Not because we ask, but because energy returned is energy received. Now, one final message remains. the echo of a voice beyond time, the last thread of Vanga's legacy. Not a prophecy, but a choice. They say Baba Vanga's last days were quiet, not tragic, not chaotic, just still. No more visitors, no more curious journalists or government agents, just the slow ticking of a wooden clock on her wall and her breath. There's one account, told quietly by a nurse who cared for her in the final months, that she whispered something just before drifting into sleep for the last time. She said, "They will come for answers, but they will only find mirrors." And then she smiled. What could that mean? It's a riddle, a final koan, a parting gift from a woman who never claimed to have all the answers, only visions. And that line, that final whisper, might be the most important thing she ever said. They will come for answers. That's us. Humanity. Hungry for clarity. Craving predictions. Begging someone, anyone, to tell us what happens next. But they will only find mirrors. That's what this has all been about. The collapse, the rise, the test. They aren't happening to us, they're happening within us. Vanga's message was never about blaming the world for falling apart. It was about waking up to our own reflection, as a species, as individuals, as souls. This isn't just about governments or machines, or the fragility of society. It's about who we become when the illusions fall away. So let me ask you, here at the end, what do you see in the mirror? Are you clinging to comfort? Or ready to face what's real? Are you paralyzed by fear? Or are you quietly preparing, emotionally, spiritually, for something new? This final whisper, this last flicker of Vanga's wisdom, isn't a prophecy. It's a torch. A quiet light passed to you now. Not to predict the future, but to shape it. We've talked about collapse. We've explored suppression, awakening, transformation. But the only truth that really matters is that the choice is ours. You can stay asleep. Or you can wake up. You can be part of the fall. Or you can be the reason something rises. As always, I want to know what you feel about this final message. What spoke to you? What do you think the mirror shows right now? For society? For yourself? The comment section is open. Our circle is listening. And if you've walked through all 8 parts of this journey with us, if something inside you feels seen or stirred, then do this. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Share it. We're not just creating content here. We're building a zone, a frequency, a place where the disconnected can become reconnected again. And if you feel called to go deeper, become a member of the interconnected zone. Your support keeps this fire alive, helps us uncover the next mystery, the next symbol, the next thread. And if this final whisper from Baba Vanga hit your soul just right, leave a super thanks. Every single spark counts in keeping this story and our connection alive. This has been the Interconnected Zone, where the hidden becomes visible, where ancient truths echo through digital silence, where we remember that even in collapse, there is always a choice. So now, take a breath, look into the mirror, and choose. Until next time, stay awake, stay connected, stay mysterious.